Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Robbie the Painter here. So glad that you're here spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. Before we get started, I'd like to say hi to my biggest fan, my mom. Hey mom, I love you. Glad you're watching. This episode is going to be part 2 of this Tree of Wisdom is what I'm calling it. Unless I change the title, that's what I'm going with right now. This will be part 2. I don't know if we're going to finish it up, but we'll see how far we get. Also like to say hi to my daughter Vicky, my brother Kenny, who is the sponsor on my painting episodes, and that Ken's Tools. So make sure you check him out. He does make sculpting tools and that for Hollywood movies and TV series and stuff like that. So check him out. I'd also like to say hi to Kim in Georgia, Teresa in Southern Illinois. Teresa's been a long time friend of mine, childhood friend actually. From way little. Anyway, hey Teresa, hey Kim in Georgia, Kim's Creations on Facebook. Glad you guys are here. Let's get started on this painting, the Tree of Wisdom. Grab my paint palette. This is the one I used on the other night when we were working on this, and the paints, I believe, are still good to use. Some oil paints will last several days. You can take saran wrap and cover them up, and that'll make them last even longer before they start getting all dried up. But I think these are going to be okay. If not, I'll add to this. I think I'm going to start out. It's upside down. Flip it around, Rob. There's no bristles there. There. We're going to start out with the little round brush to start with. I've been staring at this thing, trying to figure out what else that I want to do on it, because it's not done. I'm not happy with it yet. I like the direction it's going. But let's see if we can add some more things to this painting. I think I'm going to start down here in this root area. I didn't finish the shadows, and I want to finish some of the shadows. And I'm going to dip into a little bit of linseed oil and into some Payne's Gray and maybe just a little bit of white. Give us a gray color, because Payne's Gray is more on the black side, not too light. I want this to be a shadow. We're going to experiment here. Let's see. Just wanted to find some of this shadow area and scrub in a little bit of shadow. And then at the very bottom of the root, keeping this very dark. And I think I'll zoom you guys in so you can see what I'm doing here. There. That's better. You guys are zoomed in a little bit. Stand back. Yeah, it might be a little too dark in this area. Want the shadows dark. Got to be careful on how dark I go. Why? I don't know. Didn't learn that in any school. It's just, you guys decide what your preference on your painting is, and then go with that. So just adding a little shadow, a little more shadow down here. Okay, same with this one over here. Right underneath the root. Take my finger, rub it a little bit, just kind of rub it in. I always tell you guys, stand back a little bit, see what you got. I wiped off the paint off of this, the Payne's Gray, and I dipped into linseed oil so that I can move this paint right here. Sometimes you don't want color on the brush, you just want to move what you've already got on there and make it a little, kind of makes it transparent too by using the linseed oil and not adding more paint into what you're doing. You get a little bit of an effect. In fact, I'm dipping a little more linseed oil. Barely touch. Okay, so the linseed oil is picking up this gray that I just put on here. Or at least a little bit of it. Because I'm thinking in between these roots, if our light's from back here, and I don't know where the light's coming from, but I'm gonna we're gonna say it's coming from back here and not from this side. It's coming from this side somewhere. Then this would be kind of shaded in between these roots. Right in between these would be a little more shadow. I'm hoping you guys take some of these ideas and maybe try a tree and put some roots on it, and then you can highlight and shade the roots. And then send me pictures, because I want to see it. I always like to see what you guys are doing. On my Facebook, painting groups that I belong to, I get to see a lot of people's works, on the Facebook groups. But I don't get a whole lot of interaction with you guys on YouTube, so feel free to send me pictures. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we've got a lot to do. I'm thinking, man, I love these colors here, the way this pathway goes up here, and it's kind of the tans, definitely a different look. Let's come over here to this side and figure out what's going on. Let's darken up some of the bottom of this here, this tree. When you're doing a tree or a rock or anything, figure out where your light is coming in. That's going to be your light side. Everything on the other side is going to be a little darker. You decide how dark or how light. You can do everything one color and it'll probably look good, but if you want to really make your paintings pop a little bit, figure out, a light side and the opposite side's the dark side. Okay, I'm going to go into paint thinner. Paint thinner and linseed oil don't like each other. There's like a reaction that happens when you get those two together. So, let's do it. Took my fan brush. This is an old beat up fan brush. It's hard as, it's really stiff. I'm going to go into cadmium yellow. So I got to grab that. And I'm going to take my finger and spray some cadmium yellow on this dark area. Looks like a mess right now, I know. Looks like a hot mess. Bear with me. Like I said, if this goes south, we can wipe it off. But I've got an idea. I haven't even told you what we're doing, but I want to see if it works first before I tell you my brilliant idea, because if it doesn't turn out, it wasn't so brilliant. And I don't want to say anything. Now I'm just touching and moving and touching and moving. We'll figure out where the trunks of the trees are after I get a few of these in. And as we get farther back here, it's going to be smaller and smaller. These will be bigger up here in the front because we can see them. They're closer. As we get farther back, flowers will get smaller. It doesn't look horrible. And then the tree comes down. Okay, putting flowers in between. And then farther back, it's just going to look, they won't look like individual flowers. It's just going to be a shade of yellow. Give you the appearance that there's flowers there. It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. Kind of, sort of. We're doing what we can to make it look like, some flowers and that. If you ever walk up, this happened to me one time. My daughter has a painting of like a ship, and it's out, you know, on the ocean near the shore, and there's some buildings and that, and it's this cool seascape scene, but it's got a ship in it. And when I saw it from a distance, I was like, wow, that is so cool. And the closer and closer I got to it, it was splotches of paint just dabbed on there. And all together, it made a painting. And I was blown away by that. So, sometimes, you know, you're putting shapes on the canvas. And when you stand back and look, you'll go, wow, that looks like tree. That looks like flowers. That whatever you're trying to achieve, maybe you'll get there. I try to come up with my own ideas for my paintings. I may see another painting, you know, done by somebody that I admire, or somebody even on the Facebook groups, and that I'm like, I love those colors. And I may use those colors in another painting and do something completely different. They painted a dog or a cat, and I'm doing trees and you know, some sort of forest scene. But I take those colors and I go, I want to use those in my painting. So if you're a painter out there, don't be shy about looking at what other people are doing and getting ideas. That may fuel your creativity on something original that you're going to do. You know, just saying. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying. There's some really good painters out there. I don't consider myself one of them. That's just, I'm always hard on myself, you know. Black and yellow makes a green. If you didn't know that, like I didn't used to know that, black and yellow makes a green. So I've got a little Payne's gray on here. I'm rubbing it through this yellow back here and making it disappear on the side of this hill. So it's not too bright yellow. As I was standing back, it was looking a little too bright. Let's come back over to this side. Gotta tie that in over here. I'm kind of liking, yeah, we're gonna do it. All right, what did we do first? We got linseed oil, Payne's gray, let's just put some of this Payne's gray over here on that edge. Okay, wipe off the Payne's gray. Grab just some linseed oil and pull some of this paint out so it's not as dark. So we got the linseed oil just kind of staining the canvas right now. Just want a little bit of that color to come out from the edge. Something like that. Grab our fan brush that's got the cadmium yellow on it, dip it into a little bit of thinner. Put it into the cadmium yellow, get the thinner, get that thin. Set that down. Let's see here. And just flick. A little bit of color on there. Wipe off your fingers that have yellow all over them, and your face and your shirt. Oh my goodness. Rob, you're a mess. Let's grab our little liner brush that we were using, and here's the one I was using. Gonna go into some cadmium yellow in here and there. Gonna add something that resembles flowers. I'm using the brush sideways, I'm coming at it straight on, little dots, lines, just different shapes in yellow, leaving some dark areas. That Payne's gray that we put on underneath here, we need to see some of that. We don't want to cover it all up. If everything is dark, there's no distinction. If everything's light, there's no difference. You gotta have the light and the dark. I just had to go let my dog outside to go, do his business. And when I came back into the room and I looked at this thing, is it just me, or does this thing look three-dimensional? Like it's coming off the canvas. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. Thinking of a little pocket of flowers right over here. So my daughter Vicky suggested that I put moths in this, and I was thinking about butterflies, and I told her about that, and she said, oh, moths are just as pretty as butterflies. And I found some pictures of some moths, and we're gonna try one. I believe this is called a muslin moth, M-U-S-L-I-N. It's purple. I hope you're liking it so far. I'm digging it. I think we're gonna come down to this area down here and add something to this. I'm gonna use a little round brush, going back to that one. I'm only using a couple of brushes, you guys, not using a whole bunch. The more I started working on this painting with the tree, I thought, ooh, would it be cool if the mysterious stranger was standing here looking up at this ginormous tree. I'm just gonna make the indication of the path he might have walked. Just the indication. Barely see these footprints. I did this in another mysterious stranger painting, the precipice. I put the footprints in. I just liked it. And it kind of tells the story a little bit, where he came from, where he's going. Switching brushes back to the round brush. We said our light was back here. I'm guessing there would be some shadows coming off the mysterious stranger this way. Something like that. I'll grab the liner brush back. There's a shadow from his cane. Well, I'm happy with it. I think we're gonna sign this. You know what? Let's go into some red. I started painting because I watched a couple Bob Ross episodes just to learn what oil paints were and how you mixed them. And I did a couple in that style. And then I was like, I want to start creating on my own, just see what happens. And then I was off and running, and then I started doing the Mysterious Stranger series, and I love it. But I've done a lot of strange paintings just to see if I could. And I'm very thankful to Bob Ross for getting me started in that. He always signed in bright red, or in the early days, he called it permanent red. So let's come down here and we'll just sign it right down here. There we go. Let me set this down. We've got a signed painting, guys. Didn't start out to be a mysterious stranger. I was doing, again, just doing a misty background. And then I like these deep forest, trees, hidden areas and that. You guys should try something like this. Follow along with Part one of this kind of shows you it's a time lapse, but you get the idea of how to do this. You get a background color, and then you just take some Payne's gray and start making tree trunks. Smaller the farther back, and as you get closer, start making them a little bit bigger and a little bit wider in that to give you a perspective. But you guys could do something like this. Another thing about this Mysterious Stranger series, from the beginning, I always thought that one painting would tie into the next one. It would be linked. And I kind of, they're not all linked right now, but eventually I think they will be. And this one, because I put the yellow flowers in, I think ties in to this one here. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to put it side by side. So this one, even though I'm painted this one second, this one would come first. He travels up this path. We start getting into these yellow flowers and these trees, and he comes up this path and he goes into a deep forest, and this is what it looks like. So I'm hoping that these tie together. I hope you guys see that, and I've had fun with this series. Drop down in the comments just to say, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this and had as much fun watching as I had painting this. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.